There's nothing more frustrating than climbing into your car on a freezing morning, turning on the heater and getting blasted with cold air. You wait a few minutes, hoping it will warm up, but it doesn't. Meanwhile, your fingers are freezing, your windshield won't defrost, and you're stuck wondering what went wrong. A car heater that only blows cold air is more than just an inconvenience. It can be a sign that something in your engine's cooling or heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system is malfunctioning. Luckily, this guide will walk you through the most common reasons your car heater blows cold air and explain how to fix them so you can get back to a warm, comfortable drive. How the car heater works. Before jumping into the causes, let's take a quick look at how your vehicle's heater actually works. It's not like a space heater with its own heating element. Instead, your car's heater uses the heat generated by your engine to warm up the cabin. Here's the basic process. The engine heats up as it runs. Engine coolant circulates through the engine, absorbing heat. Some of that hot coolant is routed through a small radiator-like device called the heater core. A fan, blower motor, pushes air through the heater core and into your vents. The warm air enters your cabin if everything's working correctly. So if any part of this system fails, coolant level, heater core, thermostat, or blower components, your heater might blow cold instead of hot. One extra thing to keep in mind, the system also relies on the quality and type of coolant you're using. Old or mixed coolant, for example mixing green and orange types, can corrode or clog your heater core internally. Always use the manufacturer-specified coolant type, like Motorcraft Orange for modern Fords or Dexcool for many GM vehicles, to prevent sludge buildup and blockages. Now, here are the 8 reasons why your car heater is blowing cold air and how to fix each one of them. Number 1. Low coolant level, the most common reason. One of the first things to check when your heater isn't working is the coolant level. If the coolant is low, there might not be enough hot fluid circulating through the heater core, which means no warm air for the cabin. Low coolant is often caused by a leak in the radiator or hoses, a cracked reservoir, a failing water pump, a leaking heater core. Symptoms of low coolant include cold air from the heater, engine overheating, coolant warning light or temperature gauge running high, puddles of coolant under the vehicle. How to fix it? Let the engine cool completely, then check the coolant level in both the radiator and the overflow reservoir if accessible for your car model. If it's low, top it up with the correct type of coolant for your vehicle. Be careful not to open the radiator cap when the engine is hot. It can spray boiling coolant and burn you. If coolant keeps dropping after refilling, you likely have a leak that needs to be fixed. Also, check the coolant condition. If it looks rusty, sludgy, or milky instead of bright and translucent, it's time for a flush. Old coolant loses its ability to transfer heat efficiently and can clog small passages inside the heater core. Next, a faulty thermostat. A stuck open equals to cold cabin. Your engine's thermostat controls coolant flow and helps regulate engine temperature. When the engine is cold, the thermostat stays closed to help it warm up quickly. Once it reaches operating temperature, the thermostat opens to allow coolant to flow through the system. If the thermostat gets stuck open, the engine may never warm up fully, especially in cold weather. That means the coolant never gets hot enough to warm the heater core, and you'll only get lukewarm or cold air from the vents. Signs of a stuck-open thermostat. The engine temperature gauge stays low. Poor heater performance. Longer than usual engine warm-up time. Reduced fuel economy. How to fix it? Replacing a thermostat is typically a straightforward repair and costs between $20 to $100 in parts. If you're handy, you can do it yourself with basic tools or have a mechanic handle it. Make sure to top off the coolant and bleed air from the system after replacement. After replacing the thermostat, always burp the system to release trapped air, set the heater to full hot, idle the car until the cooling fan kicks on, and top up coolant as needed. Air left inside can mimic the same symptoms as a bad thermostat. Number 3, an air pocket in the cooling system. Air trapped in your vehicle's cooling system can prevent coolant from flowing properly, especially to the heater core. This often happens after a recent coolant flush, a coolant leak repair, or if the system hasn't been bled properly. When air pockets form, they can prevent hot coolant from reaching the heater core, leading to cold air from the vents even if the engine is hot. Symptoms of air in the cooling system. Inconsistent heat output. Gurgling sounds behind the dashboard. Engine temperature fluctuates. The heater works when revving the engine, but not at idle. How to fix it? Bleed the air from the cooling system. This varies by vehicle, but often involves opening a bleed valve, running the engine with the radiator cap off, or raising the front of the vehicle to let air escape. Always consult your owner's manual or repair guide to avoid introducing more air into the system. A DIY method to try is raising the front of the car slightly, turning the heater to max heat, and letting the engine idle until the thermostat opens. Then watch for air bubbles escaping from the radiator or overflow tank. Some vehicles have a dedicated bleeder screw on the upper radiator hose. Open it briefly until a steady flow of coolant, no bubbles appears, then close it. The fourth cause heater blowing cold air issue is the heater core itself. Like a blocked or leaking core, the heater core is like a mini radiator tucked inside your dashboard. If it's clogged, leaking, or has air trapped inside, it won't deliver warm air into the cabin. Heater core issues are usually the result of old coolant breaking down and forming sludge or debris circulating through the system. A leaking heater core can also fog up your windows or leave a sweet smell, coolant, inside the cabin. Signs of a bad heater core: cold air from vents even with a hot engine, sweet smell inside the car, wet carpet or dampness on the passenger side, windows fogging up, low coolant level with no visible leaks. How to fix it? If the heater core is clogged, a professional coolant flush may help. In severe cases, the heater core will need to be replaced, which is a labor-intensive job since it's buried behind the dash. Costs can range from $300 to $1,000 depending on your vehicle. Number 5, blend door or actuator failure causing air to go the wrong way. Modern HVAC systems use blend doors to control the temperature of the air that enters the cabin. These doors are moved by small electric motors called actuators. If a blend door gets stuck or an actuator fails, your heater might only blow cold air, even if the engine and heater core are working perfectly. Signs of a blend door problem: the heater blows cold air only on one side of the vehicle, clicking noises behind the dash, inability to change temperature settings, no heat even with a hot engine and good coolant levels. How to fix a blend door problem? Diagnosing this requires removing parts of the dashboard to access the actuator and blend door mechanism. Replacing an actuator is usually inexpensive, around $30 to $100 for parts, but labor can be involved depending on its location. Some DIYers can do it with patience and a repair manual. Next, it could also be a broken heater control valve, causing hot coolant not to flow in. Some vehicles use a heater control valve to regulate how much hot coolant flows into the heater core. If this valve fails or gets stuck closed, coolant won't circulate through the heater core, and you'll get cold air instead. These valves can be vacuum-controlled, electronically operated, or cable-controlled, depending on the vehicle. Signs of a bad heater control valve: cold air from the vents. Valve is visibly stuck or leaking. The heater only works intermittently. Temperature doesn't change when adjusted. How to fix it? Inspect the valve under the hood, usually on a heater hose near the firewall. If it's stuck or leaking, it will need to be replaced. This is often an easy job and relatively inexpensive. 7. Blower motor and controls not working properly. Although not directly responsible for heat, a malfunctioning blower motor or HVAC control system can affect airflow. If the blower isn't pushing enough air through the heater core or the climate control system is malfunctioning, you might mistake it for a heating issue. Symptoms of a blower problem: weak airflow at all settings, no air coming from vents at all, the blower only works on high or low speeds, controls unresponsive or acting erratically. How to fix it? Blower motor problem: check the blower motor fuse and relay first. If those are good, test the blower motor resistor and fan switch. Replacing the blower motor is a straightforward job and usually costs between $100 to $300. And lastly, number 8, possibly a head gasket leak or combustion gas intrusion. So in rare cases, a failing head gasket can push exhaust gases into the cooling system, creating air pockets that block heater core flow. If you've bled the system and the problem keeps returning, watch for constant bubbling in the coolant reservoir or unexplained coolant loss. A cooling system pressure test or chemical block test can confirm this. Driving with a malfunctioning heater isn't just uncomfortable, it can be unsafe, especially if your defroster isn't working properly. Beyond that, heater problems are often linked to bigger issues with your engine's cooling system, which could lead to overheating and engine damage if ignored. Now, if you find this video to be helpful, be sure to check out our other video here when we talk about the signs and symptoms of a bad torque converter versus a transmission and how to tell them apart. The link will be in the description box below and in the section here.